I am live. Juanito, good morning. Nuestra Comunidad NWI WLTH AM 1370, aquí en vivo en YouTube. And we're going to start the radio. Juan, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Huh? Juan. Rolanda, we're good. Come on. We have Dr. Gopal right here in the house here at WLTH Radio. And of course, this is our YouTube live channel. We are going live on YouTube. We're going live on Facebook. We're going live on 1370 WLTH AM. The views expressed by the host and the callers of the show, not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors. And Juanito, did you lose something? You did? All right. Well, we're officially not started yet, but we did. Don't worry about that right now. Can you get our show going, hon? Thank you. We are live on Facebook. Today is a bad hair day, but my hair is still wet, and then it's raining outside. It's still okay. And it looks like I just woke up, but actually I kind of went to sleep for 4 hours or something like that. You good, Juanito?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that they had located it, but anyway, Juan is like looking for something. And good morning, everybody. Buenos días, Juanito. ¿Cómo estás?
Good.
Squeeze over here, please. You're too far from the camera. Squeeze over here. There we go.
What are you playing right now?
They're playing our song.
Okay, which is supposed to be history. We're supposed to start a new one, remember?
We'll check that out off the air, remember? Okay. All right, guys. Good morning. Buenos días, Juanito. Say good morning to our YouTubers. Good morning to our Facebookers. A ver, Juanito, salúdalos.
Oh, wow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And stay dry because it's going to be wet, I guess, all day long with 40-plus degree temperatures here in, I guess, the Chicagoland area. So temperature is going to be good. The rain is not, but either way, we need rain. And
rain is good. What are you talking about, Juanito?
So, yeah.
It just wet my hair a little more, and it's just a little bad hair day, but it's just hair.
All right.
Did it do anything to yours? Yeah. Oh, my. You put a lot of spray there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard there.
I'm gonna get a haircut too. So
we are live, and if Dr. Sandra is live if she's on Facebook,
she is on.
Tell her to go and look at our live to find my name, and she can join us via Facebook, and we can get her on double screen. Thank goodness for technology. Good morning, everybody. Buenos días, feliz sábado a todos ustedes que están escuchándonos aquí en WLTH AM 1370, radicando en vivo desde nuestros estudios. And sorry, we can't answer. Not today. At least not right. That's my public storage people calling. Well, we'll just have to see what we can do.
Can she just call on my phone?
She can. Yes, she can.
Okay.
And we can just put her on near the mic. Okay, guys. Juan, we all got bad hair day today or something. My hair's because it's still wet. Okay. I got the wet look. So do you, man.
Sure.
Looks nice. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show, not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors, and advertisers. And of course, our calling number is 219-885-1371. That's 219-885-1371. And for a few minutes, we're going to make some announcements, and then we're going to get straight to our interview. I know we're going to have a couple people interviewed today, and Dr. Gopal and I was just talking about canceling today. It has been a little bit crazy for us, right, Juanito? He's helping me. He's such a buddy over here. He's helping me pack and move some stuff out. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We are here live in the studios on Broadway, 115 West 5th Avenue in GI. Good morning, GI people. Buenos días a mis amigos y mi familia aquí de Gary, Indiana. Y también todos los que están escuchándonos. Buenos días. Good morning, Dr. Sandra. How are you? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So just hang tight. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Juanito, I know you got some announcements right there. Go ahead.
Well, before I even do the announcements, I do want to say to everyone out there to go to the YouTube channel for the Area Career Center in Hammond, Indiana, so you can see all the great work that the multimedia students are doing at the Area Career Center in Hammond, Indiana. Thanks to Ms. Stephanie Reiser, the instructor director for multimedia in Hammond, and also to check out From the Heart, which is my tape TV program out of the Area Career Center. If I do it this month, I know it will be the most powerful program I will have done yet. I am planning on doing a program called Taking a Knee. And when I say taking a knee, the first thing that comes to your mind as it relates to the national anthem, taking a knee. Look for that coming up.
Taking a knee. And of course, that is Juan's show, and it's called From the Heart.
From the Heart. So let me also say this, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're turning 65 years of age and you haven't made decided what plan you're going to take in reference to Medicare, you have Miss Araceli Corona, who is doing 1 hour presentations about what you need to know and do to choose the best plan for you as it relates to Medicare. So the next upcoming workshop is on December the 7th from 10 to 11 o'clock at 1900 Indianapolis Boulevard in Whiting, Indiana. Araceli would like for you to RSVP at 773-968-6619, 219-801-1276. And Miss Araceli is bilingual and English. Well, I don't know if there are going to be any Spanish speaking, but she is bilingual. Also, ladies and gentlemen, today is today's the 1st, actually, right?
Today's December 1st.
December the 1st,
Saludos a todos.
right.
Diciembre primero es el primer día.
So there's supposed to be an upcoming CAG meeting on December the 8th from 12 noon to 1:30 at the library on Chicago Avenue. And we do have our next upcoming high school reunion for the class of 1976 Washington High School. This reunion will be taking place on Thursday, July the 25th, Friday, July the 26th, and Saturday, July the 27th of 2019. You know what? Only $175 total for those 3 days. For more information or for tickets, call Johnny Mitchell at 773-426-9295, Eli Barbosa at 219-201-4281, or Debbie Sepko at 219-688-4875. We do have a ad book that we're also promoting, and at some point during the time periods, we do have cheesecakes that we sell in terms of a fundraiser. So other than that, next Friday will be the first Friday in December, which the first Friday in December for Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana is Extreme Sabor
Latino. That's right. That's right. And I'm sure you're going to bring somebody awesome and powerful, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. Buenos dias. One more time again. We want to wish you a happy Saturday. We thank you for joining us here today on Nuestra Comunidad. We are live on YouTube, so please subscribe to our new channel. And what's the name of our program? It's the name of our YouTube channel. And tweet. You can tweet to us. We have a Twitter channel that's at Nuestra Comunidad, which is the acronym of Nuestra Comunidad Noreste de Indiana, NCNWI. And of course, if you want to reach out to us, contact us at ncnwi.com. That's contact us at ncnwi.com for any questions or concerns or anything you want to listen to. Bueno, aquí tenemos, and we're also live on my Facebook. If you want to share to Nuestra, Juanito, over there, so that way we can get more viewers. Please, for those of you that are on Facebook, that are on YouTube, don't go anywhere. Stay here. You know, some people will go in for a minute or two and not really realize what they're missing. Not because I want you to see my face. You see it on my Facebook regardless. If you want to go see, you click on it, right? But it's not about us. It's about the information that we're bringing in to you via radio, via social media, via everything. And we thank everybody that's joining us right now live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on 1370WLTH.com. We have one guest on one line and the other guest on another line. And of course, Dr. Gopal is here in the studio live. And saludos a los que están viéndonos directamente en Facebook or in YouTube. So, you know, it had to happen today. We're talking about possibly like canceling last minute. I don't think it was meant to.
Yes.
Because we made whatever had to take place to make it happen. And I thank you for coming this morning, Dr. Paul. You tell me you're coming from Chicago in this beautiful rain. It's not nasty rain, folks. Get it together.
It was
we
a
need
great
the rain.
drive.
It was a great, somewhat of a peaceful drive, I hope. Okay, Dr. Cobo, we have Dr. Sandra. Are you there, Dr. Sandra?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And we also have Mark on the line. Good morning. Buenos dias. Can you raise the volume to the mic 22, please? Whichever one. Okay. Mark, can you say something else again, please? ¿Hablas español? Poquito. Ajá. Don't get me started because I'll hold the whole conversation here.
Can't really hear him.
Okay, we're trying to raise your volume. Mark, can you tell us? Let me introduce Mark first, Dr. Gopal.
Sure.
That way I can adjust the volume. Go ahead, Mark. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Good morning. This is Mark Price. I'm financial advisor at Jones, the financial advisor for Safety HR.
Okay, I think we got two mics going on. And where did you say you're from?
Originally from South Chicago, Illinois, and now live in Northwest Indiana.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Northwest Indiana. Thank you for coming on as well. And then we have Dr. Sandra. Tell us who you are, Dr. Sandra, and where you're from.
Good morning, everyone. I work for Safe Chair. Well, I volunteer for Safe Chair. I'm originally from Chicago as well, but now I reside in Northwest Indiana. And we always joke and say that Dr. Paul and I are work spouses because we are elbow to elbow, not only with our license. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, so I'm a therapist, but also a co-director to Dr. Gopal for Safe Chair, which is the Coalition for Human Rights that's focusing at this point on prevention of human trafficking.
Well, and that's the very important topic that we're going to talk about today. Now, Dr. Gopal, can you tell us who you are and where you're from?
My name is Dr. Kalyani Gopal. I'm a licensed psychologist, clinical psychologist. I do forensics and neuropsychology. And I've been in private practice for the past 30 years or so. And I work with victims of sexual abuse, worked with cases of divorce and custody, done neuropsychology evaluations. So I do the whole gamut from infants to geriatrics. And I actually have a passion for foster care and adoption. So that's my specific area of interest.
Tell me a little bit more about you. What got you interested into this? Something had to strike in your mind or your heart? Or
oh, absolutely. So human trafficking actually is something I knew nothing about, say, even 10, 15, 20 years ago. I didn't know I was working with victims of human trafficking until I heard the term, which is really a strange way to get into it because I worked with foster kids for so long and our kids were disappearing. So our teenagers, especially between 12, 13 and up, were disappearing and they would call me. One child in particular literally is always in my head. Her voice is always in my head. And she called me from Chicago and she says, Doc, pick me up. And I was, of course, totally green behind the ears. And I said, you know what, why don't you go back to your foster mom? You shouldn't be running away. You should go right back to, go back home. And that was the end of that conversation. And I realized this was a payphone in Chicago that she was calling me from, the Chicago number. And I realized afterwards when human trafficking really became like the buzzword, that this young lady was probably being trafficked and she was calling for help.
Wow.
And she had my number on her speed dial. So she, the payphone, and she was able to call me. And years later, I still, even now, whenever I speak about human trafficking, whenever I speak about foster care, whenever I give lectures on the subject or raise awareness, speak on it, it's always her voice that is, please come and pick me up. Please come and get me is literally what she said.
Wow.
So what segued me into human trafficking was not necessarily what she said, but what segued me into it was a family of young children They were 7, 5, and 3 years old. This was about 27 years ago, I think, in Gary, Indiana.
Mm.
And this family of 3 children was being trafficked by their own parents.
Mm.
And about a couple of years
Did you just
ago,
say, I'm sorry, did you just say their own parents?
their own parents, their mother and stepdad.
Jesus. Wow. Wow.
Right. And so because they were being trafficked, at that time we called it child sexual abuse, of course, and incest, which is of course incest at
Right.
that point,
Wow.
especially as a biological
Terrible.
family. So the 3 children were asked to do what they call tricks in the human trafficking world on one another.
Oh, wow.
And there's a whole vocabulary, by the way, that goes with human trafficking that we have to educate ourselves on as clinicians, because not many psychologists, or like Dr. Sandra, not many those in the field of social work and psychology actually have any training at all on human trafficking. Right, Dr. Sandra? So what we end up calling them is, we say they're bipolar, they're sort of borderline schizophrenic, they have borderline personality disorders. So we give them all kinds of terminology so that we feel comfortable with the diagnosis.
Wow.
And then we medicate them. Of course, none of the medications are going to work because they don't deal with the primary problem,
Right.
which is, rape and human trafficking.
So, Dr. Sandra, how did you get involved into this? What made you join us? And then I'll get with you, Mark, as well.
Sure. Let me give you a little bit about my background. I have 35 years in Chicago public schools, and I started off as a teacher and just recently exited as an administrator. I was a teacher, counselor, etc. But saying that, throughout all of my experiences, the most important aspect of academic progress was making sure that our youth had a stable social emotional curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked a lot on social emotional curriculum, and what I mean by that is embracing and addressing our youth when it comes to self-esteem, conflict resolution, peer mediation, all of those tools and all of those skills that are so necessary to have when you do become an adult, or even prior to an adult, when someone does confront you, or when someone does try to groom you, or someone tries to make you do something that you don't want to do, such as human trafficking, you can have the strength and the power to say absolutely not. So for 35 years, I worked in Chicago Public Schools, and simultaneously for the last 5 or 4, I worked at private practice with Dr. McCall. At that point, we just kind of, talked. We saw that, we shared a vision of how we can really help in terms of preventing human trafficking, how we can help in terms of intervening in whatever environment, be it the school environment, be it a hospital environment, be it the church environment. We can get in there and help our youth and empower our youth before crisis occurs. So that's basically how I came about and entered the State Coalition for Human Rights. And that was, I believe, in 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, and thank you also for you being part of this. It's such an important topic that many people shy away from even conversing about it or wanting to hear about it. And for those of you that just joined us right now, this is Nuestra Comunidad Noroeste de Indiana, WLTH AM 1370 y 92.7 FM. We are AM 1370 and 92.7. This is a bilingual talk program, but today majority of them are English speaking people, but it's okay. We're going to actually have translations and something that they're working on and doing. And this is a very, very important topic that if you are an educator, a parent, a community leader, you must get involved. It does take a village to raise a child. Definitely. There's no buts about it. There's no ifs about it. There is no question about it. We all need to get involved. And that's what captivated my attention, that all of a sudden got involved. And I think that there's nothing coincidental about things. It's Godcidence. I believe how it all happened. How I met Dr. Gopal was at an event that I had 3 young ladies. Shout out to them. You know who you are. Griffin, Smith, and Bibbs. That came on the radio a day before their seminar about human trafficking, and you know it saddens me to see the lack of participation of you folks. Yeah, that's you. Those that are watching and listening, you know who you are. That you're not participating, and it's sad to say, but true, that it only happens until something happens to you. That's when you get involved, until something happens to you or your loved ones. Then you want the whole world, every mom and dad, to get involved and support what you're doing. Why not be proactive and not reactive? Get involved now. So now let's talk to Mark. Mark, tell us how'd you get involved in this, and what turned you on to this?
Well, it's funny. I was senior court administrator for Lake County Juvenile Division, and for many years I seen cases come through that were just absolutely appalling. And then I was introduced to Dr. Gopal, Dr. Sandra, and they presented us with their organization, and it was something that was synergistic. The fit was perfect from what I had brought back with expertise in that field, as well as my 10, 11 years on Wall Street, back in the late 90s to early 2000s. So, it all fit.
Well, thank you. And it all fits when you know that it makes sense to do this. Because it could be your child, it could be your neighbor's child, it could be your teacher's child, it could be anybody's child for that matter. And we're not just talking about girls, right?
Right. It's boys too.
It's boys as well. And I thank you as well, Mark. I thank Dr. Gopal, Dr. Sandra, and everybody else that's in this team. And Dr. Gopal, you're building a team right now, as I see.
We are.
Juan,
thanks to you and Juan Villarreal.
Juan Villarreal, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás, hermano? Thank you for joining us, and everyone watching us. Share this video, share this channel, WLTH. This is 1370WLTH.com. Share, because it's not about looking at my face. It's about what's coming out of our mouths here, that's coming from our hearts.
Absolutely.
So now we have this non-for-profit organization, and what sort of things do you do to help families, to help, or let me back it up a minute. How do we know who's being trafficked, Dr. Gopal?
So that's such a great question, because I get that asked all the time. It could literally be your next door neighbor's child. It could also be the next door neighbor's mother being trafficked. So trafficking has no socioeconomic boundary, no race boundary. Wow. It could be black, white, Asian, Hispanic, you name it. It could be anything, any race, any religion, any socioeconomic status. We have a daughter of 2 physicians who's being trafficked. Wow. That we know of. So that's why I say, just because you live in a nice neighborhood and you're surrounded by nice houses, it doesn't mean there's no trafficking going on.
Wow.
So trafficking is actually the second largest second largest criminal enterprise after the drug cartels, literally.
Right.
Because what's happening is the drug cartels have realized that once you sell a drug, it's gone. It's used, it's gone. But a child or a human being can be sold repeatedly over and over and over again. And that concept is financially a huge bonus, because they can make so much money. And the saddest thing about foster care and trafficking, and why that becomes, unfortunately, that's become a pipeline, despite the best intentions of those of us who work in the field, the reason it's become a pipeline because no one's looking for those children who have run away.
Wow.
No one's looking for them. They say the child has run away. Okay, she's out of control. We can't handle her. She's gone. So then these children become almost like the forgotten kids and the forgotten young adults. So they age out of foster care and are close to aging out. And by the time they're on the streets, so it's become a huge homeless situation as well.
Yeah.
So our homeless population is almost correlated with our foster care and adoption population. So our kids who get adopted then get unadopted, which is a horrible term. But they're really cute when they're little and they get adopted, and then they end up getting normal behavioral issues with children, and then parents decide to give them back to the state or adopt them.
Wow.
So the whole foster care, human trafficking, homelessness, it's all in the criminal enterprise of drug abuse and drug addiction, the opioid crisis. They're all connected. They're all interconnected. And that's why we need to wake up. Yes. And we need to raise awareness. And that's why Safe Coalition for Human Rights has taken this on as our main goal and main focus. And we have a three-pronged approach. Our first prong is awareness. Because if you don't raise awareness, how would people know?
Exactly.
The second problem is once you raise awareness, what do you do with that information? You literally can't sit on it because what are you going to do?
Exactly.
So the next step was to go into the school system. And we have developed a program called the Safe Schools with Dr. Sandra, and I have done it together. And thanks to her expertise, we've been able to actually train about 31 to 32 children out in Michigan City. And all of them said they had been approached in some way. And this was 2 years ago.
Wow.
And they all said they'd been approached in some way by traffickers, by groomers. And then the third approach for us is actually where we're building our village. So this is a huge thing for us. This is our passion. We want to be able to house about 100 youth and adults. And we want to do it in Northwest Indiana because right now we have about 30 to 35 young people who are trafficked and that we know of. So less than 1% are rescued. And out of the less than 1%, we know of only 35. So you can imagine how many kids.
That's huge.
So you can imagine just how many people there are out there who are being trafficked that we have no idea about. We see them every day. They don't know how to ask for help. And the saddest thing is many times the victims don't know they're being trafficked. So if you go up to a child and say, hey, by the way, I want to help you. You're with this 25, 26-year-old guy, and you're only, 13, 14 years old? What are you doing with this older boy or this older lady? Where are you going with them? And they don't tell you. They say, oh, that's my friend. That's my new best friend.
And on that note, with that, Dr. Capel, many people don't even approach. I would say more do not approach than take that risk in asking.
Right.
Forget about, I don't want to offend. You could be saving somebody's life. Someone on Facebook says, what are the signs of someone being trafficking? Are they visible for us to say, oh, I can help this child because I can see this on her or him or this lady? Are there any visible signs?
There are a few very visible signs. For example, most of these kids and adults will have about 2 cell phones. One belongs to the trafficker, one is whoever they give them. Parents, for example, will take away their cell phone. The child will suddenly come up with a new cell phone.
Right.
Simple things like that. They'll take their clothes and they'll have change of clothes and they'll disappear during 2 or 3 hours of school. So for example, school goes from 7:30 to 2:30 or something like that, right? So between those hours, these children are leaving the school and being trafficked during those hours. So then we call them truant because they're missing school.
Right.
And parents don't have any idea until later when they get a report card and this kid has F's on everything. There's a sudden drop in grades. So they go from straight A students. And please don't think that kids who are failing are the only ones who are being trafficked.
Right.
We actually have kids who are straight A's. Straight A's, no problems. But bullying, being bullied in your younger years, it's what we call part of the ACEs, which is the Adverse Childhood Experiences. It's a huge study and a huge program. We're implementing that in our kids here. And bullying, we have found, has highly correlated to every single kid I've seen.
Wow. So anyone that's out there that is an advocate or has their own ministry or has their own non-for-profit or has their own company that deals with bullying, we need you. We need you because that's where some of it starts. As we were talking, Dr. Sandra, that day, by the way, our interview, you guys got to watch it with Dr. Sandra. That just went viral.
Yes.
Amen.
I'd like to add something else, if I may. It's very, very important that parents monitor their children's computer
usage. That's right.
Because a lot of our children are being groomed online, and parents are not looking over their children's shoulders, which they should, because so many times, Dr. Gopal and I see children, 11, 12 years old, and they've been groomed, they run away, and their parents say they had no clue whatsoever. None. that tells you right there that, you know, when the child is in their room for several hours, you know, that's a red flag. Go in there, talk to your children, check their cell phones,
That's right.
monitor their computer usage, have conversations with them, engage in them. I think there's a very important component that's missing today, and that is strictly conversation with your child.
That's right.
You know, many times parents just hand them a device and go,
And that's it.
Just go sit over there and just keep yourself busy while I do my thing. Where is that family component?
Right.
Where you sit around this kitchen table and you talk to your children. We have lost that.
That's right. That is so, so true. And we touched on that so often, Dr. Sandra, because I too am a parent, and I am one of the nosiest ones that I want to know what they're doing on their phone. Why is it so silent? Because, you know, it's sad to say that kids nowadays prefer to text than to have a conversation, verbal conversation over the phone. It could be the girlfriend and boyfriend, and you don't know what's coming through those phones because you can't hear them. And parents need to be nosy.
Absolutely. Very nosy. Now, the whole idea of privacy and keeping the door closed is a really dangerous situation, because that's where the kids, you think they're doing their homework. All they have to do is click on a tab, and then you see their homework, and then they click back on the tab, and they're videotaping in the underwear. So so it's a very serious problem we do face.
They go incognito. Parents, Google that. What does that mean? I think that's the correct word. Rolanda, am I correct? Incognito, Rolanda, when they open up a page that nobody knows, is it going incognito, or what is that word? What is that called? Is it incognito?
Privacy?
Yeah, it's actually they open it up, and my son showed me because I saw him doing it, and he says, "Mom, you can go this way and no one knows." Well, I'm thankful that he showed me that. I want to say it's incognito or something to that effect, where we can go on and click a tab and nobody knows it's there. So they'll close that page, and parents think that they're doing their homework, or get this, I get parents to say, well, at least my child's at home and he's not running the streets.
Exactly.
He is running the streets
online.
And they're getting themselves in trouble not knowingly. Look, ladies, it has happened to you. Women, you get these people that are hackers that are out there to get your money because they're calling you baby. They're telling you the best things that you've never been told, and it makes you feel so good. Guess what? They are false, fraud, illegal, whatever you want to call it. They're not the real deal. They're not the real McCoy. It's not the man that's behind that voice, that's behind those emails, that's behind those lovely words that they tell you that make you feel so good. Man, you need to feel good about yourself all on your own. Don't let people tell you something you want to hear. Same thing goes for you, young ladies, teenagers. I have a 19-year-old ready to be 20. She knows herself. She knows who she is. She's confident about herself. And that's what we need to build, is confidence. And I have 2 professionals, 3 with Mark, that are willing to help your child.
Absolutely. So what we do in Safe Coalition for Human Rights is that we do our awareness training. Mark has worked with the juvenile courts a long time, and Dr. Sandra, of course, as you just heard, has worked with the school system. So what we do is we go around, we do trainings, we do awareness training. We're willing to come to your churches, we're willing to come to your schools, willing to come to your agencies and train your staff as well. And part of the training is, how do you know the signs? What are the signs for human trafficking? How do you know that your child is safe? How do you protect your child from being bullied? How do you teach your child social skills so that they can be more resilient? It's a big issue. Resiliency is actually a genetic basis for resiliency. But those who don't have the resiliency, they need to be able to learn basic bricks, the basic foundations of resiliency. So we teach that. And it's a 10-module program which we do, which we really enjoy teaching. We enjoy training, and we enjoy working with kids, especially at high risk. And you'd be surprised how many youth they're at high risk. Think about it. If a child has been sexually abused, this child is at 28 times higher risk of being trafficked. So look around you. 1 in 5 kids, 1 in 6 kids has been sexually abused. So in a classroom of, say, 30 kids, at least 5 or 6 have been sexually abused, which means at least 5 or 6 are at risk for human trafficking. And then you add to that the isolation of children. They don't really know how to communicate anymore unless they're texting.
Right.
And without texting, we don't even know how to talk to each other.
Right.
We don't know how to do social graces, common social graces.
We're losing that communication.
Right. And
altogether.
think about a text that is just emojis. Imagine if I say LOL to you every time you talk.
Exactly.
Right?
Or LMBO. Okay.
Yeah.
IDK.
Exactly. It's like Washington, D.C. You know,
Right.
everything is
Exactly.
everything is acronyms. So we don't really know how to communicate. And traffickers will tell these children, if you really love me, and sometimes these can be females acting as, they can be fishing. They can have some cute guy's picture up there. And then they can say, well, you know what, if you go to school and you just slap this kid's butt, excuse my, the graphic part of it, but if you do that, then I'll still be your friend. I'll continue to talk to you.
Right. Show me your breast.
Exactly. It's almost like 5th grade, 4th grade level with our older teenagers, because emotionally they're so immature and they're unable to grasp the extent of what's happening to them.
Right. Yeah, and may I add on, Dr. Paul, groomers are very, very cunning, and they listen very carefully to children's conversations.
Mm-hmm.
They know when to intervene. Like, children, and we'll go back to the bullying scenario.
Mm-hmm.
When they get bullied in the school setting, when they are rejected by peers who they think, are their best friends, and then the next day they are. And we've all been there. We've all been through middle school, and we've had bullying, and we've had rejection and heartache and so on and so forth. But here's the difference. They go online, the predators listen to their top stories, and their heartache, and that's when they intervene. That's when they go in and say, aha, I have a vulnerable youth here, and I'm going to pretend like I am their savior.
Right.
And that's when it all happens.
Right. And on that note, we'll be right back here on Nuestra Comunidad topic, a very hot topic, human trafficking. We'll be back after this commercial break. And we have some questions that are being pending live on Facebook. And we thank you for joining us here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please share these programs that we have here. It's not about Juan. It's not about me. And we're not getting paid to do it. Right, Juan? On the contrary, we need your support. This is the kind of programs that we bring. And I know that we are a bilingual talk program, but there's so much that's being said. It'll lengthen the show once having it in Spanish. But I will do another Facebook Live with all three. Mark, you're on the line, right? You there, Mark? Okay, so we want to keep bringing this out because it's happening too often than it should be. And the numbers, what was the ratio? 1 in every 6, you said?
1 in every 6.
This is crazy. So Charlene and Juan, hold on. I will ask your questions. And Juan, you put it up there because I believe Mark, didn't Mark used to work with Stefania? So Mark, we know each other. We've met, and I'm very vocal about things because I'm very passionate when it comes to our youth, our children, and women. Quit being so vulnerable. I'm empowering, and I'm bringing up programs as well outside in the community. Get involved. And Dr. Cobo doesn't know it yet. Dr. Sandra Mark doesn't know it yet, but God just shared me a vision right now that needs to happen, and this has to go national. In bringing all of the agencies together, law enforcement, the judges that deal with the youth need to come together because it's not about them, and we need to stop looking at our size of pockets. That happens to be an issue is money is what drives people. Well, you know what? Stop housing them in juvie and start working on programs to keep them from going there to avoid that. And I have also positive impact that I deal with as well with the Lake County Correctional Facility. We need to keep bringing them back in. Juan deals with probation. I keep telling him, dude, you have more to tell them to keep coming them, as you call them, frequent customers. You know what? It's because something is going on with them, which is why they are still coming into the system where they are still returning. We're not finding enough solutions, and they're there. We need to remove our blinders, and we need to get it together.
Now and then, it's fresh new sound.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana. We were saying some things, or I was saying some things off the line, and I'm going to repeat myself. We do have some questions that are being pending. And question, Mark, you worked with Judge Stefaniak, am I correct? Mark, are you still there? Mark, did we lose you? Yeah, I'm not. Okay, Mark, if you are listening or watching, please call us back. Dr. Gopal, Juan raised a very important question, and that is are you getting support from the law enforcement?
So
Or organizations receiving, are you receiving that?
So we used to work with law enforcement about 4 or 5 years ago, and they were very, very supportive of us. We also became a registered trainer. So Safe Coalition for Human Rights is a registered trainer for law enforcement in the state of Indiana. Lately, we haven't had that much support. We wish we could have more. I think there's so much going on. There's so much crime, so much of other focus that is going on right now that we don't have as much as we'd like. We did train 2 officers, thanks to Sheriff Martinez. We trained 2 officers in with law enforcement, and they were both assigned to Northwest Indiana, but we only have 2 law enforcement officers that were assigned. And now they're being pulled in different directions too, because the nature of crime and so forth, and the demands of law enforcement. So we understand and appreciate that, but we'd really like greater support and greater help from the local law enforcement in terms of being trained, in terms of working with us and with other organizations. They've always been extremely supportive and very helpful, but in terms of getting trained and in terms of having more boots on the ground, we really need more boots on the ground in Northwest Indiana.
Yes, we do. Well, so you guys heard it. Stefaniak, you're probably watching.
Northwest Indiana is Lake County, Porter County, and LaPorte County. So all those 3 counties have a sheriff's department.
That's right. And so we need all you involved.
Yeah. But every city and town in all 3 counties have their own police department. So that's where you may want to get additional law enforcement personnel.
Right. And I tagged a few police officers that I know personally from Hammond and from East Chicago. We need everybody involved because it could be the mayor's child that can be human trafficking, don't even know it. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. That's all. The next thing is there's so many young women disappearing. There needs to be more awareness in the schools and media. Well, here's the thing that sometimes schools shy away from putting things out there, and because they are too busy with their teachers and their students. And I know that they sometimes have a heavy schedule, and they need to squeeze, even though this is so important, they need to squeeze this in to their to their schedules from the kids that have testing. They have so many things to do. Absolutely. Yes, Juan, I so agree with you. I actually tagged Sheriff Martinez to let him know that we are talking about this topic. It's a hot topic. It's an important topic, which is human trafficking. And I know and I believe that we're going to get all 3 sheriffs together, and we're going to get all judges together. Mark, it would be good actually if you can actually call into the station, because your voice will call in through the radio program. Well, thank you so much, Mark. And so, Mark has a connection straight with Judge Stefaniak. So we need to talk to all the Lake County sheriffs. And I mean, hold on, all the not meant county, but Northwest Indiana juvenile judges, and the judges from the county, and the sheriffs from each county from Northwest Indiana. But beyond that, because our kids are taken to another state, are taken to another country. So we're talking a national, international media awareness, bringing things to light. Families, you need to let people know, forget being that code of silence. We need to break that code of silence. We need to talk like canaries. If you know something's going on, you need to report it to somebody, or need to put them in a safe place, and then call Dr. Coppola, call somebody, call the crisis center. We're also going to partner with Sherry. Sherry doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to get a hold of her. She's with the crisis center. And all the foster care companies, organizations, agencies need to come together with this one. It's a movement now.
Absolutely.
It's a movement now that nobody can stop.
Amen.
Nobody can stop, because we have to continue. And there's something that I learned from that place where I met you, that where's the biggest bust I will call it bust, because you're getting them and you got the police department involved. Where does it happen?
Truck stops.
Truck stops. But what about, what's that football game that happens once a year?
In the Super Bowl.
Oh,
The
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, actually,
Unbelievable.
they rescue about 200 young
Jesus.
people. The saddest thing
Unbelievable.
about the Super Bowl and the whole missing children. So look at it this way: the foster care has about 427,000, give or take, each year. Okay, kids in care. If you look at the NCMEC, which is the the National Missing Children's Agency and organization, they keep track of the kids who are missing. They have about 600 to 700,000 children who are missing, because you're now trying to count in the kids in the Super Bowl, where we rescue about 100 to 300 children each time, and women, not only just children, we also rescue women. But when they rescue these people, less than 10% actually have an identity that they know of, that they know are missing.
Let me ask you this. I don't think no one really knows, but the caravan that's over in Mexico, they said there's anywhere between 5 and 7,000 people. I'm sure no one knows. But are some of the kids there or whatever possible human trafficking victims?
Absolutely.
Anything
So,
is
Because
possible.
you know,
yes, because this is a big concern. Because look at it this way also: these families may not be intact families.
Mhm.
They could take someone's child, and because children have become human shields at this point, they may not be their biological child. Many of them could actually be biological children, but traffickers will take a group of kids just to come across, and they're trafficking these young girls and boys into the United States. So we really don't know. As emotionally heartrending this whole issue is, just having worked in the field of human trafficking, there's always this antenna: are these children biological children?
Mhm.
And if so, they should not be treated this way, absolutely separated from the parents. And if they are not biological children, how much more are we putting them in harm's way when we treat them the way we do? So there's a huge philosophical and political social issue with this whole the caravan situation in Mexico.
One more thing, I think, you know, I think the curriculums when it comes to our public school system need to be changed and upgraded and be made more for learning about life skills. And so I think subjects like this should start out like what you're doing right now in terms of workshops and seminars and everything else. But I think whole curriculums need to be changed within our public school systems to teach this in the elementary schools and the middle schools and the high schools, because children need this education.
Actually, how
to
about
deal
elementary
with
school?
that's why I said elementary
Yeah.
schools, middle schools, and high
That
schools.
is where it's hit.
Can I take you just a step further?
Yeah, and we just have 2 more minutes left, so let's wrap it up. We're gonna do this another live.
Okay. I'm just saying, I think when you are becoming a teacher and you're at the university, just like you're trained to teach math, just like you're trained to teach reading, you should be trained how to identify high-risk youth.
Mark, any last minute you want to share with us? Any comments? Or I know that they're asking, is there a phone number if they see something, say something, do something? Where do they call? Real quick.
They can call us at 1-833-SAFE-CHR. And I'd like Mark to speak a little
Yes.
about the juvenile situation.
Yes, go ahead, Mark. Mark, are you there? Did we lose? Okay. Okay. He didn't hear. Go ahead. Ask again, Dr. Cooper.
Mark, do you want to talk about the village and the juvenile situation, the kids that we have in care?
Yeah, the really fact that I don't know, I could probably be redundant, but 300,000 individuals get human trafficked per year in this country. And that, when I heard that statistic, I was absolutely floored. Ages of anywhere from 9 to 16, and then after they've been trafficked, their longevity or their lifespan is usually about 7 years. I mean, when you look at a person, when you see an individual and you value them as a human, and then you look at another side of the coin where a person looks at it as a business and just a commodity, you know, these kids have no chance.
Right.
And when I looked at the justice system here in Lake County, and we are the second largest county in the state of Indiana, with about 500,000 people, and our juvenile population is extremely high, and the amount of kids that really don't have what we would consider a mom and dad, a true foundation for success in life. And then you're relying on courts and agencies to help fill the gap. It just doesn't work. It's not the way things were created. And so it's just right for the picking when it comes to people that want to capitalize on somebody else's misfortune and
Right,
run
right.
through a system. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where Dr. Gopal and Dr. Sandra have really come up with a very exclusive and much needed idea. So
Right. Well, that is up for our time. Thank you so much, Dr. Gopal. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Dr. Sandra, for coming on here on Nuestra Comunidad Noroeste de Indiana. Yes, the question is, can we help financially? Can people help financially? Give us the number again. And there's their website real quick because we do have to wrap it up.
Absolutely. It's safechr.org, SAFECHR.org. There's a donate page. We are raising funds for our village. We need to buy land, and we're going to buy land in Northwest Indiana. If you want to help us with that, please contact Eve or me or Mark or Dr. Sandra, and even Juan Villarreal, who's one of our benefactors and is going to be hosting an event for us this coming weekend.
That's right. And for those of you that are on our YouTube and Facebook, stay tuned. We're going to share this information all on Facebook, all on social media. Follow me, Eve Gomez, and you'll have all that information. Nuestra Comunidad NWI. Also, we thank you for joining us. And of course, for those that are watching on social media, thank you so much for everything that you're also doing. But spread the word, spread the word. Don't keep it to yourself. You see something, say something, and do something. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much for watching us here and for listening on Nuestra Comunidad. Have a wonderful weekend. Hasta la próxima.
Eve and Juan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And for my YouTubers and Facebookers, Juanito, when are we coming back?
Coming back next Friday, as always, Fridays 5 to 6 and Saturdays 10 to 11. Next Friday being Extreme Sabor Latino and only on WLTH AM 1370 radio, 92.7 FM.
That's right. We hope that you've learned something new today. And if you just know it, share it. Just because you know it, do something about it. All right. So peace to you guys. God bless you. Until next time, nos vemos a la próxima. El viernes a las 5 de la tarde. But you guys can always see me on Facebook because it's always about what can we do to make a difference and to bring the quality of life because our children need it. And that's how we can decrease crime, violence, gang-related activities. And we can just either sit up and do something or sit down and be quiet. Peace to you guys. Love you. Hasta la próxima.
So you found a tripod?
Yes.